to produce a shadow off the boy. The bauble jingled in tones of hope. "I don't know. We've looked everywhere. Twice. Tink, I just don't know where it could be." The bauble swayed quietly, pensively, almost as if the fairy within was in that rarest state of all the fairies. Deep thought. Possibly bothered by something. But the boy, even in his diminished state, still kept his attention permanently fixed on himself. He did not notice. She jingled once, tentatively. "Nah, I don't feel like flying. Not right now. I think I'll just rest here for a while. You go on without me. I could use a nap. Then I'll feel better. I just know it." The fairy jingled worriedly around his face. "Just go look without me." He swatted her away like a gnat, sleep already overtaking his body once the decision had been made. "Don't feel like flying anymore." He yawned a giant, repulsive yawn and was soon snoring. The fairy regarded him silently. She hung in a cool shadow of the generous tree, spun gently by a summery breeze. They were at the edge of the quiescent jungle, which was the friendliest forest in Neverland. The leaves of the trees spanned every shade of golden green, and the creatures who lived there were all harmless and mostly furry. The air smelled like ripening blackberries, although it was not quite the right season, and a whisper of cool moistness hinted at a delightfully icy stream somewhere nearby. Only a fool would want to leave. Only a genius would choose to nap there. But Tinker Bell was twitchy. She had a rather dark inkling of where the shadow could be, since they had effectively proven where it could not be. And if her friend ever found out that she'd had this inkling all along, he would be very cross with her indeed. She floated silently over to his face, her golden sparkles illuminating every lash, every freckle, every pore. He blew out through his careless lips, and his breath lifted up the ends of his long, shaggy bangs. She hovered above his pug nose. After debating and biting her own lip, she gave him the tiniest quick fairy kiss on it. Then she steeled herself and zoomed into the sky, like a bee bent on finding its way home after a day of foraging nectar. But she was not going home. She was going to look for Peter's shadow in the scariest place of all. She was going to London. London. Yes, it's a scene recreated so often it has become almost a caricature of a trope. But let's go through the process once again anyway, because it's necessary, even to this story. Low clouds do not blanket the sky, for that implies coziness and comfort. No, these clouds mask the sky, weigh on the sky, choke the sky. They are strengthened by smoke from below, the trickling upward effluence of 100,000 chimneys that decorate the landscape like unhealthily angular flowers. The slate and clay-shingled higgledy-piggledy rooftops seem to extend forever in an industrial upside-down version of the fairy tale hills and dales in a children's book, with bright pictures and bad perspective. Everything is in shades of grey and black. A great grey river slinks through the city, like a tired but friendly snake, hobbled by bridges far less impressive than their names imply. Don't believe me? Look up London Bridge and gaze at its pictures. An utter disappointment. Of course there's Big Ben, the giant clock with equally giant gunmetal and copper hands that an astounding number of fictional characters have wound up standing on at one time or another. Its bells, along with all the church bells of the city, toll the hour menacingly, with the obvious